Grand Rising, everyone. This is Artist of Truth, and welcome to my vlog. As you can see, this is going to be a very interesting, yet I'm going to keep it short and strictly to the point. The Houston Police Department is now facing great scrutiny, not only from the public, but the family, but from the loved ones of a family that was innocently murdered by Houston police officers. They're back in January the 28th, and it's crazy because I didn't hear anything about this. I'm just hearing about what has transpired most recently. And January 28th, 2019, there was a botched drug raid that was performed in Houston, Texas resident. A husband, Dennis Tuttle, and his wife Regina, as well as their dog, allegedly, were home was invaded by Houston police officers. Alleged gunfire was exchanged. I believe 4 or 5 officers were injured, and the couple were ultimately murdered. Now, the case was very sketchy. I'm guessing from the beginning, because today Gerald Goines is being charged with felony murder, and Stephen Bryant is being charged with felony murder as well. Apparently, Goines lied about drugs being sold from this particular residence. He stated that while he was injured, because he suffered injuries from this alleged shootout, which it was only friendly fire. So that just goes to show you the number of officers that were just carelessly and recklessly firing inside of this house or outside of the house, whichever occurred first. But Goines lied about a confidential informant, 1 or 2 confidential informants, that the drugs were being sold at this particular residence. Upon interviewing the confidential informants, it was clearly stated that Goines lied about it. Now the shit has backfired on him. Now he's facing felony murder. Him and Stephen Bryant. Gerald Goines, a nigga working in the union. I guess he thought he could just do whatever he wanted to do and get away with it. It's like, which really doesn't surprise me. I kind of figured they were going to get someone to take the fall. But this couple sustained multiple gunshot wounds. I had the opportunity to look at the autopsy printout, and let me just tell you, that is sad. That is sad that you run up in someone's residence and you're so trigger happy, and it's like you take someone's life. But moreover, the chief of, the chief police officer at one point was, he was applauding and raving over his officers and performing this botched drug raid. And now he's somewhat having to face the fire himself and eat his words, because one of his officers actually got caught up in abusing his authority and lying. And apparently it's not the first time that Gerald Goines has lied about drug raids. Apparently it's not even the first. So that just goes to show you the level, the integrity of police precincts and police officers. Because if you know this is going on, you got some officers, they're so coward, they're not saying anything about it. They'll turn the other way and just go along with the flow, until questions are being presented and people are actually about to face prison time. I watched the video of Gerald walking out of a Houston courtroom, and he was just hiding his face as if he was so fucking ashamed. I was like, there's no reason for you to be ashamed, punk bitch. Simple as that. Why are you so ashamed now when you have ruined so many people's lives? And probably if he lied about this and he lied about other drug raids, then who knows whose lives he has contributed in ruining. And now karma is a motherfucker. Karma then came back and was like, hey, bitch, it's your turn. No, you can't get out of this. It's your turn. You fucked up. So now you're going to have to bite the bullet. I can't wait until, honestly, I can't wait until they put Goines and Bryant, behind bars, put them in prison, amongst others. So they can know, he's a former cop. Oh, okay. So they can get in there and shank him a little bit, go in there and rip them a whole new asshole. Because that's exactly what they need. They need a taste of that. No special privileges. They need to catch exactly what's coming to them. But moreover, me personally, I feel like, hey, it's the state of Texas, so you already know how they are about the damn death penalty. And you're talking about a couple who wasn't even involved in drugs. I know I was reading an earlier report earlier this year that the woman had cocaine or heroin in her system, but then it comes out today that there wasn't any drugs coming from that location. And moreover, I still haven't heard anything about any drugs that were found at the residence. I don't know, maybe I missed that part, but from what I was reading, I didn't come across that. So that was like, that was sad, that's bogus. But there was a I believe there was it was stated that Goines had cocaine inside of his squad car that was allegedly from another fabricated drug raid. But in any case, my thing is, why are these officers riding around with paraphernalia in their cars just to plant? Or better yet, why in the hell you have it in your vehicle anyway? This is a sad case, but it just goes to show you, because I understand there are a lot of people out there. They love police officers so much that they are willing to totally and completely ignore the bullshit that they're doing or have done just so they can continue to hold them up on a goddamn pedestal. Look here. Let me explain something to you folks. You love your cops. You know, you love some of these officers so bad that when you see them doing something wrong, you will not address it. To me, you are a coward. No different than they are. No different than they are. But moreover, the president of the president of the union, you know, the police department president union, stated in an interview as well as on Fox News that he was basically warning those spreading anti-cop talk. And I listened to him, and all I could think of was, damn, that's a form. Isn't that like a threat? You're threatening, you know, now you have a president of a fucking union in Houston that publicly went on film behind the camera and basically threatened those who were speaking against police officers. My thing is this. Joe Jarrell, whatever this dude's name is. He gotta, you know, some people have to be mindful that when you're throwing out wolf tickets like that, be careful what you say, because you can be touched too. You know, simple as that. Take it how you want. But he threw out that, you know, it's like, we're coming after you, you know, we're watching you and this, that, and the fifth. I was like, okay, cool. You know, because I'm one of them, you know. I will speak against an officer who is abusing his or her position. I will not bite my tongue. I don't give a good hot damn what anyone says. And will I protect myself? By any means necessary. By any means necessary. I don't bend. I don't fold. I don't run for them. I don't have fear. And when you don't have fear, you have the ability to stand up and you call people out on their shit. When you don't call people out on their shit, they will continue to railroad you over and over and over again, to the extent where them upholding the law will actually show them breaking the law, and the same system that covers them and protects them will continue to turn a blind eye. Or better yet, they will continue to justify the means by saying, you know what, that's okay. That's okay. We're just going to give you a nice little slap on the wrist. Don't do that ever again. When someone's life has been taken, someone's child has been shot dead, and then you're expecting them to just forgive and forget. But I'm pretty damn sure if some of these officers, if someone ran up in their house and gunned them down and slaughtered their whole entire family, I doubt seriously that they would have, or anyone working within that police union or that organization would have any empathy for that individual or individuals who are giving the same type of same level of justice, or should I say not justice, but the tables were turned and they turned around and were doing the same exact thing that these officers were doing. Now, mind you, I'm willing to put out this disclaimer when I say this. I understand not all officers are rogue, unfair, have a tendency of escalating a situation. I'm not. It doesn't apply to those officers who are going out of their way every single day to be as fair, polite, respectful, and knowing how to approach a situation and able to de-escalate the situation without being so quick to grabbing their guns and shooting someone dead and then hiding behind this coward ass excuse of, oh, I fear for my life. Oh, I fear for my life. Or I thought he had a gun. I thought he had a gun. Or just every excuse under the sun. And instead of saying, you know what, I made a mistake, I'm going to face accountability for it. How many officers do you actually hear of saying, there's no reason for me, I don't need a lawyer to defend me. I'm taking full-fledged accountability for my actions, not trying to justify it. Because what was it? One of the most recent cases that I heard about was a police officer that actually was raping female motorists. And even though even though it was like the whole entire time, he had no remorse. He wasn't worried about anything. He had that look on his face like, shit, I ain't doing anything to them. I don't give a fuck what they say. I don't give a damn what they say. I'm good. Until that verdict was passed down and he was found guilty. I know some of you remember that motherfucker. Until that verdict was passed down and he was found guilty for stopping female motorists and raping some of them. Abusing his position. It was like all before that he had that, he didn't admit to it. He didn't admit to shit. He had that look on his face like he had not a care or a worry in the world. As if he knew deep down inside, I'm good. My peers say I don't have nothing to worry about. And I'm not going to worry about it. I'm good. I'm gonna get over this. And when I get over it, if I see her again, I'm going to rape her, probably put a bullet in her. He had that, he just had that energy like, I ain't worrying about nothing. Until that goddamn verdict was passed down. And they found his ass guilty. When they found him guilty, that motherfucker was shaking like a damn leaf in fall winter weather. He was just shaking and shit. I couldn't believe it. But when I say this, man, I was like, how many officers do you actually hear of saying, I take full accountability for my actions because I knew better, but I continue to take advantage of the public? How many officers do you actually hear say that? How many officers do you actually hear say, you know what, I take full-fledged accountability and whatever consequences that I'm going to have to face, I'm willing to face it? None. I've yet to hear an officer take accountability for what he or she has done. It seems like the only time they actually start showing somewhat remorse is when evidence has built up so much against them that the public and even those in the court are just like, we gonna burn you today. You gonna burn at the stake today. We can't help you. And the public, if we find you not guilty and put you out there in the public, 9 times out of 10, they gonna get you. They gonna get you. Or they gonna come back and they gonna look at us. And their faith and their belief in us is just going to dwindle. We can't take that heat. you're gonna have to suffer these consequences. We're gonna do everything in our power to protect you while you on the inside for the next 5 or 10 years or whatever. We're gonna do our best to try and protect you. We're gonna look after your family and all this shit. You already know that's what these unions is about. And this is another reason why the public reacts in the way that the public reacts. I was like, shit, why is it that people can't understand that when we speak up, we're not speaking up and speaking out against police officers just for the hell of it? We're not. Everybody's in line about police brutality. I remember it was a Fox News contributor, a Milwaukee sheriff, last name Clark. Clark was, I listened to him so many times, and I was just like, you know what? You are a coward. You are a coward, a weak, shallow-minded, docile, pathetic excuse for a human being to say, well, I don't see racism, I don't see police brutality and whatnot. I'm just like, wow, what rock are you living under out there in Milwaukee? But it just goes to show you that officers, they're not willing to take accountability for abusing their authority. Only those. Now, you got some cops out here that you see what's going on. And listen to me close. If there's someone in your family that is a police officer, you don't have to like what I'm saying, but let them hear this. You don't have to like what I'm saying, but it should somewhat eat away at your conscience that you see an officer, you see another fellow officer escalating a situation, and you stand there and you don't say anything. You don't try and de-escalate the situation. You just stand there. That's a coward move. It's a coward move. It's a coward move for you to just witness another officer doing something that is totally and completely unjust. It's not right. Whether it's planting drugs on someone, or stealing from them, or taking them out of, turning their body camera off, or taking them out of the camera's line of sight to abuse them, to infringe on their rights. And you see it, and you stand there and you don't say anything. That is a coward move. That is a coward move, because it just as much as you can stand there and watch that occur, that same shit could happen. That same thing could happen to you. It could happen to your loved one, your children. It can easily happen. And it does. It does happen. And when it happens, when it happens to you, how does it feel? Because there's some officers out there, they have never been stopped by another officer, and they have never been antagonized and physically and verbally abused by another officer. Never. Never. So if you see unfairness, injustice that is unfolding, it is your job, not only as a police officer, but it is your job as a human being to speak up and stand up for what's right. It is your job. Either you're going to be a pawn or you're going to be a man or a woman, whichever comes first. At some point, you have to stand up, because if not, the public is going to continuously lose faith and lose belief in what police officers are actually supposed to be doing, and not just being a goddamn overseer. But most of all, I will be following, I will be following this case as much as possible. I will post, there's a link that is posted below. It will give you the opportunity to kind of like read over it and, let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. In the meantime, in between time, protect yourselves. Make yourselves more familiarized with the ins and outs of law. Moreover, exercise your rights, because you do have rights. Exercise them. If you don't know what your rights are, look them up. Or ask, shit, better yet, ask. Ask. Because your rights is what's going to protect you. But if you don't exercise them, you're not familiarizing yourself with the ins and outs of law and how they operate and how they remotely pertain to you, then this is what's going to continuously happen. At any given time, someone could run up in my house and gun me down. But I'll be the first to tell anybody, if I have a gun pointed at my face, hey, I'm not saying shit. I'm not saying shit. I guess you just gonna have to take me down. I guess you're gonna have to arrest me. I guess you're gonna have to take me to the precinct and whatnot. But be mindful, I'm not folding. I'm not signing or consenting to anything. And that is the same thing that you have to do. You can't consent to anything, because without your consent, they can't do much to you. They can't. So in the meantime, in between time, protect yourselves and each other. And, in the meantime, in between time, just stay in love. All right? Peace to the gods.